Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Ryan Webb.
Hey Karen, good to see you.
Good to see you too. So Ryan, do you want to do your own 1 minute quick introduction about?
1 minute quick introduction coming up. So I'm currently the MBA Career Consultant at UQ. I've recently switched over here 3 weeks ago, so really excited.
Ooh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ryan, he has lived a very interesting life, so we just get right into it. So Ryan, what kind of child were you growing up?
I'm an energetic child. I was very much into sports. I was very passionate about helping people and definitely a loyal person. So interested in teaching from a young age, I guess, or helping support others that needed help.
Yeah, would you consider that like you were like very extroverted, very quiet? What kind of?
I was a bit of the class clown.
Oh,
so,
not surprised.
Hence why I did that stand-up comedy course in the end. I'd say that kept me actually out of any trouble in terms of being bullied or anything. So being the class clown sometimes is a good thing.
Yeah, you just bully yourself, right? Self-deprecating jokes. Yeah, was bullying a big issue at your school?
Depends on what school you're talking about. So in high school I went to two. I went to a public school and then a private school. Definitely plenty of bullying in the public school, and then private school not so much. So depends. Yeah. Also, I was one of those people that sort of stuck up for the kids who are getting picked on as well. So I'm very conscious of those situations.
Yeah, and did you also have any consequences for that?
In what way?
So were you bullied because you stood up for somebody?
I think, in primary school I got bullied a couple of times and then I picked on the bully back. So I think I got a reputation for sticking up after myself. So yeah, I think that helped moving forward.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, so like what kind of bullying did you receive? Like, I haven't really been bullied yet. So
yeah, you're lucky.
I think I also have a really bad memory, so if I was bullied, it's just like, yeah. So like what kind of bullying was around at that time?
Well, I think everyone can align or understand it from the perspective of it was my turn that week or that month or whatever. So it wasn't anything in particular. And if I was giving anyone any advice, is to understand why bullying happens. It's because usually that person is going through something in the background that you probably don't know about. That's not an excuse, but it might help you to be able to break down the barriers and help that bully stop bullying in the first place.
Yeah, that's good. Like, first, not to take it personally, right?
Look, no one deserves to be bullied in any situation, but trying to figure out ways and strategies around it will hopefully help you out.
Yeah, and so that week you were bullied, like what happened? Was your hat thrown in the bin? Were you punched? Or just kind of curious?
Is this a bullying podcast?
Yes, but like I'm just kind of like curious, like bullying, like you can almost label anything as bullying nowadays. So I was kind of curious.
So I'm 45, so back in the day it's old school. There's no video cameras or anything like that. So it's more of a punch up in the school grounds and stuff like that, especially the boys. So I think he might have thrown some punches and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's interesting. I think nowadays it's more verbal abuse rather than physical abuse.
I think I think it's easier to get in trouble now.
Yeah, someone will dob on you. Yeah, okay, interesting.
So there you go.
Yeah, and so at that time when you were in high school, like what was your, like, what did you think of?
Oh, that was primary school.
Oh, that was primary school?
Yeah, that was primary school.
Oh, okay, cool. And then so you transitioned into high school, and then how was life then? And did you have any thoughts on a career?
No, look, I thought high school was exciting and fun in private school. Public school, not so much. It was a bit of survival of the fittest in that area. But in terms of a career or interest, I think it aligned with my personality. I really like to help people, so I always wanted to be a teacher, to be honest. And so I guess the careers advisor or careers consultant roles really do align with my long-term goals, which is quite rare, believe it or not. Yeah. Usually you don't stay on the path. You don't become a fireman just because you started wanting to be one when you were a kid.
Yeah.
But the education direction is also difficult, especially for a male person as well.
Yeah.
So that's sort of swayed me away personally from that sort of pathway.
Oh, okay. And then so when like it came time for like applications to university, what happened?
So in my 20s, I'm a mature age student, so I didn't start studying my degree until I was 27. My interest throughout my 20s was to enjoy life and go and find out what's out there. I lived on Hamilton Island, I lived in Kakadu National Park. There's a hotel called Gagajoo Crocodile Hotel. It's in the shape of a crocodile.
Wow.
Look it up. Hamilton Island was amazing. You can imagine living on an island. And then I got the overseas bug. If you're talking about bullying, I actually got bullied up there. I used to be a bar manager in the hotel.
So we're talking verbal abuse or physical abuse?
Again, physical, because I actually lost a tooth.
Is that fake?
It got punched out. And I ended up suing that guy for 11 grand.
Whoa.
Which everyone says, can you punch me? No.
Yeah.
So I used that opportunity to then go overseas. Lived in Clapham Common for a month. I dossed on the floor, and then decided London was a bit difficult on hospitality wages. So decided to follow one of my friends over to Belfast in Northern Ireland and lived there for about 2 years.
Interesting. So were you mainly like working in hospitality to make your ends meet at that time? A lot of waitressing?
I was actually working in a Michelin star restaurant at one stage. I had to wear little black booties so that you couldn't make any sound on the carpet.
Yeah.
So it was this really quiet room. It was only for 15 people, so it was really boutique, but amazing food, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Also worked in a number of other restaurants there as well.
Yeah. Did you felt like you fit in at the time? Because like, wow, if you put me in a very, very formal environment, I feel like I just really want to laugh. So I don't know about you, how was that?
I think I read verbal cues very well, so I can understand when to be serious and when to have a laugh, I guess. Also, I've always moved around quite a lot, so I get along with people quite easily. I don't find that a chore. I enjoy making new friendships and relationships, so that wasn't a problem either. I was playing rugby over there as well for a reserve grade, and enjoying that as well. Good way to meet some different, diverse people is sport. So,
That's cool. And so, were those the best 7 years of your life? Would you say?
I couldn't put it in a category, to be honest. As I've explained to you, the last 10 years, 12 years, being married to my wife, I probably would say that's been my most exciting, some of the things that we've done.
Oh, really? So, that's so sweet. Shout out to Ryan's wife.
but a close second would be the adventures that I had over there. Went to 26 countries in 2 years, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and do you think now that since you've done that in your youth, you're kind of sick of traveling, or does it get old?
Not sick of traveling. Can't afford to travel the way I used to, and also, like I said before, I wouldn't want to backpack in my 40s.
Yeah.
So we did a trip, myself and two other friends. We went from Eos in Greece, then went and ran with the Bulls in Spain, and then went across to France, and then went back to London, and then a 9-week overlander tour through Africa.
Wow, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about your parents. Were they Ryan, get back to study? They were trying to rope you in, or what was happening in the household?
No, my parents they don't push as long as you're happy with where your life is going and those sort of things. I think I'm the oldest of four, so...
setting the tone for the family.
Yeah, something like that. I do remember being in the middle of the Namib desert and having to call my folks to get some cash sent through because I didn't have a phone at the time that was cashed up, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I was on a satellite phone. It was about 3 a.m, and I guess the parents probably thought that something terrible had happened.
Yeah.
But I was just begging for money, so they were sort of okay with that, and they helped me up and moved on.
Yeah, cool. And so now, sort of reflecting back, if you could go back in time, would you almost like make the trip shorter, come back 25 and then start studying, or would you have changed anything per se?
No way, absolutely.
Really?
No, I'd actually get to stay longer.
What?
If I'd have stayed another 6 months, I would have got PR in UK. So that's probably one regret I'd have.
Wow. And then you had like dual citizenship or something.
Yeah. So that one I regret a bit. But in saying that, I lived in Scotland as well in my last 6 months. And I got the SADS, I don't know if you ever heard of those before, seasonally adjusted disease. So it's a lack of vitamin D. And because there's no sun between, I guess, November and February or March, so you get a little bit depressed. Because you've got no vitamin D. So it's nothing in terms of mental health. It's more about the fact that you need to see the sun occasionally. So if you're not getting outside of your room and doing too much study, then I highly recommend going and go to the beach at least once a month.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I feel like I can't live in like rainy places, because if I don't see the sun, I'm not happy.
Yeah, and I guess that was the catalyst for me to go and decide to come back. Also missed everyone. Hadn't seen the family and friends for a couple of years. It's interesting coming back to Australia once you've been travelling overseas, because it feels like everyone's frozen in time. Everything that you did 2 years ago, they're doing exactly the same. So it's very unique. Yeah,
that's interesting. It makes you feel like you didn't really miss out on much.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. But yeah, that's how it sort of felt.
Yeah. And so how long did that travelling around last for? Wait, so did you like from 18 to 27, around 10 years?
No, older than that. Oh yeah, including Hamilton Island and Kakadu, yeah. So did most of my 20s.
Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. And then so what was it like coming back to study as a mature student?
I've got a bit of regrets about that one, to be honest. And I think a team like a careers team, I wish I'd taken more advantage of, because I was a mature student. I wasn't really interested in making new friends, going to toga parties, stuff like that. I was working up to 30 hours a week while I was doing full-time study, because I had a life and I needed to pay for it as well. So I remember doing a third year HR subject, and it was an assignment, and it was due the next day, and I was up in the restaurant admin office till about 3 o'clock in the morning getting it finished after work.
Damn. Yeah, and was it hard to sort of adjust, like coming back to Brisbane and stuff? I assume you came to Brisbane first, right?
Yeah, so I'm a Brizzy boy.
Yeah.
So I've lived here on and off all my life. Love Brisbane. I think a good example of why you want to live in Brisbane, and it might change soon, because everyone's heard it. Everyone knows about Brisbane now, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. But in Brisbane or other states or territories like us, if you fell over in the street, someone will pick you up.
Yeah.
Whereas in other major towns, maybe like London, they'd walk over you. I'm not saying they'd literally walk over you, but that's the vibe you get in terms of it's more friendly. Yeah. People are more open and welcoming to speak to you in Brisbane. Hopefully that stays long term, but with this city getting bigger and bigger, I'm sure everyone gets busier and busier as well.
Yeah, might not last forever, so enjoy. Keep tripping. Kidding. But getting back to when you came to Brisbane, and then how was it like settling back into a sort of, I don't want to say boring life, but it's definitely not that fun and like exciting, like, you know, when you're traveling from country to country. So generally people, they get like hit with like a bit of like a hole in their heart. So how was the sort of adjustment?
Yeah, well, I think two things. The first one is all of my friends had moved on, I guess, in a way. So the ones that had stayed behind and studied, so they were now into their second or third year of their career, and also completed their degree. So they had, I guess, a competitive advantage in that way. Also, some of them might have started families and all that sort of thing. So that opportunity cost that you take to go travel and just enjoy your 20s, the opportunity cost for me was not starting a family or having my career going. But like I said, I'd never change that decision because I think it's been the best thing for me. I think I'm a much more grounded person going through that. I think of a number of people going through some experiences at the moment with COVID, that sort of thing. They don't have as many experiences to fall back on in terms of memories that I do.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and so did you enjoy the process of studying?
I'm going to be honest, it was a struggle. Again, I think it was because I didn't have a clear vision of my career, where I wanted it to go. So I was studying, even though I was a mature age student at 27, I was studying because people had told me that's what you need to do. So I wasn't doing it for the right reasons, I don't think necessarily. If only I had spoken to someone and had a mapping sort of tool, and I think that's why this new career that I've been on for 8 years has been really exciting, and to be able to provide something that I wasn't able to, or I didn't tap into, was something that I really enjoy.
Interesting.
So the second part is, if you don't understand where you want to go, it's a struggle because you don't know what you don't know. And the last part about my study, which is interesting, is I finished in 2008, and I don't know if you remember what happened in 2008.
Global financial crisis.
Correct. So I had a business degree, and the whole market had fallen in a heap.
Yeah. Wow. And how did was that a big shock to your system? How did you deal with the...
Well, I was always very good in hospitality. My managers probably wouldn't say the same thing. Hey, Jade. But I was very good in terms of customer service, and I think in terms of transferable skills, you need to recognise those things, that everything that you've done up until this point is the reason why you're going to be successful in the future. And so even in a global financial crisis, people need to eat, they need to have a drink to get over their sorrows on a Friday, that sort of thing. And so from a financial point, I guess, and from a career perspective, it wasn't as big a hurdle as I thought it was going to be. However, my career got paused again in terms of progression. So I was still in hospitality, I had a degree, but I wasn't actually effectively using it.
Yeah, and what was your degree and how did you choose what you wanted to study?
Bachelor of Business Management and International Business, actually.
Oh, not surprised. I was thinking tourism or international business.
I knew everything. I thought I knew everything about tourism, so I didn't need another piece of paper to tell me how the theory around why a restaurant works. So Bachelor of Business Management, a very, I guess, generic degree, and so therefore in my opinion, it was hopefully going to be easier to use in terms of a variety of industries.
Yeah, that's the criticism, and that's also the plus side.
Correct. But as I always say to anyone that's interested in terms of their career direction, as long as you understand the why, you can sell your brand relevant to whatever degree you've got. So a business management degree is absolutely valuable if you can decipher the bits of it that are relevant to the person you're talking to. So if I'm going for a job in management consultancy, which is an industry that I'm very passionate about, I work with those companies for quite some time in one of the workshops that I used to run. I can take my customer service excellence, my understanding of a project management in that degree, a whole variety of ways. So rather than say, oh, I don't connect with that, you need to figure out how you do connect.
Yeah, I think it's all about tailoring your like CV and your experience to
Yep,
that person.
that's a good start point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And so the global financial crisis, and then you know, career on pause, and then when did things start to get rolling?
It was, I think, it's an interesting point. I believe that I have been, in quotation marks, lucky a lot of my career. But if you delve into the psychology of it all, it's actually you're creating some opportunities around yourself.
Creating your luck.
Creating your luck, absolutely. So it may, on the face value, look like you're luckier, but if you've got your eyes open to everything and you're welcoming opportunities as they come along, regardless of your confidence in those areas, then you might surprise yourself and become more lucky each time.
Oh. So tell me more about that luck. What exactly happened?
So I walked into a recruitment office because I was interested in just transitioning out of hospitality, but didn't have a clue how to do it. So I walked into a recruitment office and they actually interviewed me. They obviously were impressed with how I presented myself and what I was doing. And she actually offered me a job in her recruitment office.
Wow. Then there on the spot.
Yep.
That day.
And I took it.
Whoa.
And I started the next week, I think.
Wow.
Where I stayed for 3 years. And became Business Developer of the Year 2 years running.
Whoa.
So most contracts across over 105 recruiters.
Yeah.
So very proud of the success that I had with that team. And one of the things with the company Frontline is that they're very much a family environment. And I still to this day keep in contact with the director of Frontline in Brisbane here. Fantastic company to work for. And I took out of that a couple of things. One of them is to become a trusted advisor when you're meeting with people. So don't assume that conversation you're having today isn't going to affect something in 12 months or even 5 years' time. So every conversation you have with people, take it in. Don't be waiting to say something else while you're listening to them. Have a real understanding. And the second part is, I guess, don't burn your bridges. That company wasn't a churn and burn. They very much cared for their employees, and also they made sure that they looked after you from a personal perspective. I know going through Surrogacy, they were supportive in that area as well. So I learned a lot in 3 years from that company. I definitely gave a lot as well. So I worked bloody hard, and recruitment is hard if you've ever gone into it, but very rewarding as well.
Yeah, so tell me more about like what was hard during recruitment. I can imagine a lot, but like what were the struggles and what did you enjoy?
So I definitely enjoyed the wins. So every time you get to place someone in an organisation and they come back and tell you how excited they are about the start of the job. So if you treat it like a sales role, you're going to come across as a salesperson. So if you treat it like you're trying to help people, it's a different environment and a different experience, which is what I did. So I really loved the employers coming back to me and recognising that I became a trusted advisor over time, so that they knew that if they came to me, I wasn't going to just give them rubbish people. They knew that I'd done my homework, I knew the right fit, and that was really important to them. And that's important to everyone, that you don't just you're not just treated like a number.
And what are sort of some of the challenges and things that you didn't enjoy so much?
So the challenges were, unfortunately, outside of my control. So with most recruitment situations, you have a 3-month cooling off period, if you like. So when someone is hired, they have 3 months to stay in that environment. And companies are different, and that might have changed now. I'm not sure. And what happens is if they fall out within that time, then the employer is welcome to a replacement, which is completely fair. It's a great system, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't just, for whatever reason happens in those first 3 months and you miss out. Unfortunately, I hit a record that year as well. For the most fallout in a 6-month period. And the problem with fallouts is that you need to replace them as well. as I said, and that doesn't actually come in as part of your balance sheet, if you like. So I was working twice as hard for the same output, for the same
that sucks.
sales, I guess, if you like. So that was probably one of the most challenging parts of my career, because it's really hard to just keep getting up and when you just keep getting knocked down.
Yeah, and when it's like not really your fault. You know, you had your eye on that person, like that person is going to succeed. Next chairman. And then next minute they, you know, drop it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know. There's some amazing stories. Hey?
It's almost like betting, like when you're betting on that horse to win, right? And they come last and they leave. Which is not a very good
I don't think I'd describe it as betting. I think that would be
because it's a bet on a person, because you believe that person will do well, will help the company, essentially.
It's more of a characterization scenario as well, rather than betting, because betting means that I wouldn't call it betting.
Betting seems a little bit like inhumane.
I just wouldn't describe it as betting. But I think just understanding or making both sides understand. The best description of recruitment I ever heard, and I love it. There's a cartoon of it as well. It's where let's say you're in a car sales role, and the person is ready to sell you the car, the customer's ready to buy the car, and the car says, no, I don't want to go.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
So that's where it's very difficult in those sort of terms.
Yeah.
But I know that, like I said, I speak to them often. I know they're doing really well, and they've gone on to do bigger and better things since I've left, and I still keep in contact, and I wish them all the best.
Yeah, that's cool. And I really want to know about that record. So how many people dropped out and how many people were employed, if you remember at that time?
Which record?
Because you said the most dropouts. I want to see how traumatic
Fallouts.
it is. Yeah, fallouts.
I reckon I had about 28 fallouts in 6 months.
And out of how many people did you hire? Was it like 100?
Yeah, probably around that, maybe.
Oh, wow. That must
But to put it in perspective, like at that stage of the year, maximum people have ever in a whole 12 months would be about 14.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The retention is...
The numbers would probably be wrong, so I'm not going to back myself on those numbers. It's been 8 years, so... Yeah, so that... I guess led me to just explore a bit outside of recruitment, and those things happen. You can't control those things.
Yeah, and then so when did you decide that it was time for you to leave recruitment, and then? Oh, really? At that?
It was just a struggle. That's all, and I struggled like that for 8 or 9 months, I think. Yeah. Just dumb luck for 9 months. Oh. Not anything else. Nothing to do with anything else, but dumb luck.
Yeah.
I think, what is this? I'm not sure if I can tell you stories. Probably not.
Well, can you sort of give me an analogy? Like, not quite.
So I work with chefs mostly, and I also work with CEOs or general managers and stuff like that. And let's just say one of these chefs might have got severely injured.
Oh, okay.
So they had to leave.
Yeah.
One of them might have been drinking behind the car.
Oh, drinking behind the car.
Behind the wheel of a car.
Oh.
Yeah, so those sort of things, they're kind of important, and their character as well. So those things come back.
Yeah, got to be careful in the small things, right?
You're always on. You got to remember that. You're always on.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, and then so, wait, like, how did you, because at that time, a lot of dumb luck, but how did you decide that you actually wanted to leave? Because you could have thought like, okay, next year, just give it a year. Probably my luck will be tripled, as they say.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people out there that are, I guess, not necessarily applying for jobs, but are definitely on the lookout, or are interested in seeing what else is out there. And I absolutely recommend getting outside of your comfort zone. I enjoy getting out of my comfort zone a lot. And so that's probably one of the other reasons why I decided to change careers. An opportunity came up online that I found at UQ that really aligned all of my career experiences up to that point, including my degree, which I hadn't used yet. So the role was work integrated learning coordinator, where I was placing students that were doing their placements in industry. So I aligned with my tourism, recruitment, and the degree as well, and also obviously customer service as well.
Yeah, interesting. And then how did you sort of transition into the role? Like you worked for like Bell Employability and then now, but how was that transition? Was it just like new opportunity opened up?
Yeah, so I mean that role is still completed. It's now evolved something different now, but I was always open. Like I said, I was always open to opportunities and different, I guess, learning that I hadn't. So I go back to that management consultancy boot camp that I created.
Oh yes, I went to that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it worth doing?
I went. Oh well. I mean, I think I told you the feedback that first of all, it was in the art museum. One person fainted because it was too hot.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I can't control that.
I know, right?
I can't control people that are going to faint.
It was packed, it was hot, and we were standing for like 3 hours, and I was short.
No, you
and
weren't.
I was
It was an hour and a half.
Oh, okay, it felt like
3 hours.
I was short, and I couldn't really see above the people, and everyone was like really sticky and clumped together, and then the person fainted. So that's my lasting memory.
Yes, no, I understand. And look, these things you can't control either. Behind the scenes, there's does it look really good? Well, I wasn't assuming that
on the hottest day in Brisbane.
Yes, and I wasn't expecting that where was it?
So many people to come.
Where was the venue?
Art museum.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the art museum to be lacking aircon. That wasn't something I'd factored in. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the thing I was really interested in is it was a completely new industry that I'd never had any experience in, never even spoken to an employer at that stage. Yeah. But went along to a couple of their presentations. They were all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And then speaking to students, they didn't have a clue that this was an industry that they could potentially go into.
Yeah.
And in fact, I reckon I could count on one hand the amount of people that were even applying for those roles.
Yeah.
But if I asked the same people about the Big Four, they would all be putting their hands up.
Oh, yeah. So they know about like the companies, but not about the positions and what the work is.
And also they love being able to tell their families sometimes and friends, I work at these large firms. Yeah. And there's nothing against these large firms. They're fantastic. Yeah. I'm not trying to take the shine away. Yeah. But if you know that there's only a 2% success rate across 20,000 applications, and 7 stages of recruitment where you probably need a bit of luck along that way as well, then you need to start branching out a little bit wider than the 4 companies, which is the whole point.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of, students end up unemployed because they put all their eggs in the 4 baskets?
Yes. And then there's anxiety around that because what am I going to do? I'm stressed. My family expected me to be doing this. I got OPs, I got 7s. I did all the things that I was supposed to do. I think I was doing it right, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But if you are always going to anticipate a car crash, then it helps you prevent a car crash.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And the other point is, you need to understand that there's more out there than One Direction. And I don't like that band, so I didn't use it as a don't use it as a marker.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And just wondering, because you transitioned through probably into your 3rd role at UQ. From how did you know when to leave? Was it just you're an opportunity, you might just try it? But were you was there a little bit of hesitation, I'm enjoying my role right now,
Again, it's interesting. I got lucky, I guess. Yeah. So I only came back in July, And I wasn't looking for a job.
Yeah.
I was quite happy to come back into the careers team, the Bell's Careers team, and continue doing what we were doing really well, I thought. I happened to meet with the MBA team here at the office.
And fell in love.
And no.
Kidding.
Fell in love.
Kidding. Can't tell your wife that. Best 12 years.
And came and met them because I happened to be in the building. And again, if I'm going back to that luck sort of mindset, is I would always come and say hello to you if you're in this office.
Yeah.
Or I'd always come and say, hey, what's going on? Rather than go, oh, it's too hard to walk up a flight of stairs. So I think that openness and willingness to make sure that you don't miss little steps like that has created that luck again. And they just so happened to mention that there's a job being advertised for the MBA role. And I applied for it. So if I hadn't gone up that day, I wouldn't have applied for it and I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, keep going up those stairs then.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, okay, cool. And then so your career, I guess, is like on a steady path. And then when did it like occur to you that you wanted to start having a family? And then tell me more about like the emotional sort of journey into surrogacy.
Yeah, so I guess that goes back. I've always wanted to be a dad. I'll put that out there straight away. It's deep ingrained in me to want to have a family.
Yeah, why is that? Is that like your family telling you like, oh, hey Ryan, can't wait to see the grandkids?
Oh, maybe a bit of that at the start. But no, I'm the oldest of four, like I said, so I think family's always been important. Family's always been part of my life, so it just made natural sense that they'd always have a succession plan like that, to have kids of my own and to be a dad that I wanted to be. So my wife and I got married in 2010. And so we pretty much decided, because we're in our mid-30s at that stage, we're going to start a family then. And then we found out, unfortunately, that my wife had cervical cancer.
Oh, no.
And a very complex operation happened to potentially give us a chance to have kids. And after it happened, the doctor ended up saying that there's no chance to have kids. So we went on a really long journey for 8 years trying. We went to India and Nepal. We did commercial surrogacy over there. I'm not sure if you remember or noticed in the papers, but they all started shutting down over there. There was a really controversial case.
With the Down syndrome?
No, this was after that as well. So
okay.
Another couple from Australia had come over to India and had done commercial surrogacy. They had a daughter, I think, already, and they ended up having twins accidentally.
Oh.
But because they had a daughter already, they didn't want the daughter. There was nothing wrong with the daughter, so they left the daughter behind and just took the son. And so that sparked a chain of events, and we happened to be over at India in Mumbai at the same time this was happening.
Oh, not good.
Not good. So while we were there, we put an embryo in the surrogate that we were working with there, and it didn't take. And we think we did it twice there, and then that's when India started shutting down, and we couldn't do it there.
Oh.
So we took all the leftover embryos. I think we had 9 or 10 left, and shipped them to Nepal. And the agency then took over the surrogate to Nepal to try and set up over there where the other agency was. Unfortunately, Nepal followed suit and shut down over there as well. So all of a sudden, all of our plans are crushed, and we come back a little bit poorer afterwards as well. So this is a really big financial investment as well as an emotional one. And came back a bit disappointed, and then found out, we didn't realise this exists, but altruistic surrogacy, where a surrogate will have a baby for you because it's illegal to make money in Australia for surrogacy. So we met someone, a fantastic woman, and got to know her and her family really well. And after 5 turns, she finally became pregnant in February last year.
Oh, exciting.
And that was Brody. So Brody was born November last year. Yes, we're in 21 now.
Yeah.
I've got 2 kid fog.
Yeah.
So he was born in November, but unbeknown to us, and because we were told Amanda could never be pregnant, we found out that she was actually 4 months pregnant at the time. So really amazing story. They both have brothers now. They're both amazing. It's hard. Everyone that's got kids understands it's hard.
No sleep.
Lack of sleep and stuff like that. And so Ashton came 10 weeks early. So he was a preemie. So we spent 10 weeks in the NICU in Brisbane. Amazing nurses over there. This is all before COVID, or just as COVID was hitting as well.
Yeah.
So no one got to visit us in the hospital when Ashton was born. I think sometimes I think a lot of things are all for a reason. I'm not religious. I don't believe in a superpower for it. But I don't think I don't think we could have necessarily handled this sort of process in our 20s.
Yeah.
So being in our 40s, I think it's helped us to be able to deal with the pressures that have come in the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
So, yeah.
And how did you come across altruistic surrogacy? Were you like Googling, like, I've never heard of it, like where do they advertise themselves and stuff?
Facebook groups.
Oh, so you
Private
just
Facebook
Googled
groups.
surrogacy and you're like, altruistic surrogacy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And that's happened. And it's sort of like dating. It's
Yeah.
like I'm too old to do the swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what it's like for surrogacy.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to ask them, they have to ask you.
Oh.
So with that point, Amanda worked extremely tirelessly trying to meet the right person as well. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And what's the process of like matching? Because I assume that like from your end as like the client, you would be like, anyone who's healthy?
No, this is altruistic, so it's not a matching process in that way. It's that person likes you
Enough.
they'll say yes. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's not an agency or anything like that. It's really, it's a pretty unbelievable process.
Yeah, I can't believe people do it for free.
Me neither.
Yeah, Brisbane. That's Brisbane for you.
No, it's all Australia.
Oh,
it's all Australia.
Oh.
So imagine going through all this and the complexities and then put a layer of COVID on top of it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So we are actually very grateful it happened at the very start of COVID because if it had happened when everything's shutting down as well, I don't even know.
Yeah, and I guess you have 2 kids, work from home, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Bit of chaos.
Oh, mate. There's no such thing as working from home and looking after kids. Sorry out there if anyone's trying to do that, but it doesn't exist. So there you go.
And were you able to like watch the birth of your both children, or?
Yeah, which is pretty
How's
amazing.
That? Did it shock you?
Oh yes, yes. I can't. I have an absolute amount of respect for women that give birth to kids. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, respect to.
Are you gonna have kids?
Oh, I think so, but I think if someone could have them for me, that sounds kind of nice.
I don't think you can do it just because you don't want to.
I know, right? So hopefully technology in the future.
Fair enough.
Counting on them.
Yep.
Yeah, and did you, like a lot of parents, when they hold their child for the first time, there's like a lot of tears, and what was that sort of, or was there some sort of like disconnect?
Oh, it was an amazing feeling. Yeah, it was straight away connect. He was only 1.2 kilos, I think. He was tiny. He was only like this big. So, but he smiled at me straight away.
Oh, that's so cute.
Now, I don't know if he was smiling at me, but I'd take it as a win.
You ask him when he's older.
Yeah. Was that you? No, I don't remember. No, it's a life-changing experience, so I highly recommend it.
Nice.
Yes.
Not the one giving birth, right? Think
No.
twice.
I highly recommend having kids.
Sounds Wait.
Don't get me in trouble.
So, for the second child,
Yes.
You also watched the birthing process, and that one was from Amanda, right?
From a surrogate.
So Amanda had it first, and then the
Yeah.
surrogate. Oh, yeah. And what was that experience? Because that must have been a bit like different, and then like it's kind of like a bit strange, like if Amanda's like beside you as well, you're like.
It is very strange. It is very unique. So it actually happened on State of Origin Day.
Oh,
so
special.
Brady was born about 11 o'clock that night. So we got to watch the whole Origin. Yeah. And everyone was okay with it. So, and a funny thing happened. So I really like hot food. Yeah. Like spicy food. Ooh. Like chili. Oh, okay. Like 2 million Scoville unit. Ooh. Carolina Reaper. The hotter the better for me. Anyway, so I said, because I can't go through childbirth, I'm going to try and do something to support. And one of them was they brought in the hottest corn chips in the world. Have you heard of them?
No.
Google it. They're like, anyway, they're the hottest corn chips in the world. They're really, really hot. So every time there was a contraction, I ate a corn chip.
Wow. But you enjoyed it, or were you dying?
Oh, it was pretty hot. I don't lie, but yeah, I had to stop at about 15 or something.
Wow.
So that was my trying to support sort of scenario. But her husband was in there as well, so it was a very unique situation.
Wow. Was it, would you say, more emotional than maybe the first birth?
No, I think both had the same, similar sort of experience, just different. But I'll never forget it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and any smiling baby this time?
No.
Oh.
Brady was okay. Brady's a bit of a screamer.
Oh, you can ask him when he grows up why he didn't smile.
Yeah. He does now. He's the camera over there. He's that kid.
Yeah.
he knows where the camera is, trust me.
Yeah, so, that's cool. Yeah. And then also just wondering, like, stand-up comedy, where did that play a role?
I forgot about that bit. So in 2010, somewhere around then. Yeah. I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. Ooh. Just don't have the confidence to do it.
Surprised class clown.
Yes, exactly. So I saw an ad to go into a 6-week course. Yeah. And did it. And it was one of the best experiences ever. I don't have a problem with being in front of people. Yeah. But if that's something that not your strength, then I'd highly recommend going and doing it. It was fun. It was hard because at the end of it, you got to do a bit and in front of all your friends and family. So there was about, I don't know, let's say 60 people in the crowd, and about 40 of them were my friends. Oh, so nice. It was a fun experience. There was a couple of crazies. And my recommendation is never follow the Irishman, because he was always going to be funny. And he was. So, so I had a great time. I got a couple of jokes that I think I'll keep for when I go and actually do it.
Oh, so you think you actually maybe do it like
just for free on the side, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And how did the stand-up comedy, where did it sort of fit in your timeline per se?
Just before recruitment. Just before I started in recruitment.
Really? Yeah. Wow. So was it like I want to boost my confidence?
No, like I said, I just wanted to do it because I've always wanted to do stand-up. So, in fact, one of my bucket list things is to learn how to play the banjo. Billy Connolly, have you ever heard of him? He's a Scottish comedian. He's very funny. He actually plays the banjo.
Oh, and you just like him.
I've always wanted to just be able to play the banjo and do a couple of bits. That would be heaven to me.
Sounds good. And do you mind sharing one or two of your banger jokes? I promise I will laugh.
No chance. I've got the DVD.
Oh, so sad. Do you feel like it sort of changed you when you finish the course per se? Like were you actually...
The comedy course?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it helps your timing. I helped my timing anyway.
Oh.
And understanding what it means to do a joke. You might think you're funny.
Yeah, I am.
Which maybe you think, maybe you need a bit of polishing.
Yeah, sounds good.
So understanding the whole mechanics of a joke is what I took out of it, which is cool.
Sounds like linguistics, but on joke linguist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joke linguist.
Yes, yes.
I'm a joke linguist. I like it. I'll keep that.
Yeah. Can't get a joke? No. Yeah, and then so after that, let me think, where are we up to?
Yeah, your 2 questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure. I think I was going to ask you something about jokes and stand-up comedy, but mind blank, doesn't matter. Okay. So Ryan, what's the meaning of life?
I'm glad you asked. So the meaning of life for me is being able to say that you left this place in a better way than you arrived in it. And I think I've definitely done that so far. I think everything that I do is to try and improve, whether mostly giving back. I really get a buzz or a kick out of helping other people. Yeah. I've put something on my LinkedIn. It's called the service mindset.
Ooh.
So just a little blurb about why it's important to have a service mindset when you're speaking to people. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I think making sure that you leave this place better than it was when you arrived.
Yeah. The final question is,
yes.
What is your perfect day in life?
I was going to think of 2, maybe. A professional one would be to be able to sit back and celebrate with a number of students graduating their wins and success, like yourself, getting your new job. Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's I really enjoy those sort of days because I know how hard you've worked to get to that stage. It's not just a one-day thing. I'm sure you've had to work really hard to get there, and there's a little bit of luck in it, but luck in terms of you being in the right place at the right time too.
Yeah.
And in terms of personal, I love the beach. So me, it's a beach day. Go to the beach. I used to be able to surf. I can't anymore. But surf a bit of waves. Yeah. And then go to the pub after that.
Yeah. Oh, sounds good. Yeah. So we're at the end. So what's your podcast experience like?
I enjoy it. I enjoy having a chat. Yeah. And it's less pressure, I guess, than video. I don't know where this video is going.
On YouTube. See you then.
You're going to be everywhere, Ryan.
Yeah. All your fans wanting to celebrate with you.
I think podcast is going to be a really good future way of sharing content and being able to connect with people. It's also something you can bring up and use in the future. So. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well,
we'll do this in 5 years and go.
Yeah, see where you're up to.
Back at you.
Yeah, maybe have your kids on.
Hey! Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
It'd be very cute.
5-year-olds running around like nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Nice. Let's say bye.
All a pleasure. See you guys.
Bye.